So, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you'll probably recognise my M3. I've had this car like over 3 years now. I think I've done about clocking on 30,000 miles in it. Obviously I've modified it and I've had the car and I've enjoyed it, and I still stand by. I think it's probably the best car for the money, definitely in its bracket or from its era. I do, however, occasionally get a little bit lost in the sauce, and if you've been watching, I recently bought an E30 and started modifying that, and I've also got my 2002, which I've got completely carried away with, so I've kind of done something again. Right, the stupidity did not end at the E30. I've kind of done something else. I don't really like to mention this, but if you'd like this sort of stupidity to continue, just make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and comment and all that stuff. YouTube's thirsty and it just craves attention constantly, and if you don't keep on top of that, your videos kind of just disappear into the mist. So let's just check the car out. Right, I'll just first address, like, I look like a complete scrub at the moment, but it's just because I've been at work way too much, and I've been busy buying cars instead of doing things like going to get my hair cut and all that usual normal stuff that people do. But let's face it, who really cares, because it's a car channel. Right, let's have a walk around, because obviously, like, this thing is my usual car, which is to my taste. This absolutely is not, but it was very cheap, and I'd go as far as saying it's probably the cheapest one possibly in the world for sale, more likely definitely the cheapest one in Europe, and I'll show you why, and sort of give you a bit of the background of the car. Just obviously visually to start with, it is a, I think it's called Titan Silver. I'm not 100% certain about that. Wouldn't really be my first colour of choice, but I'm just not massively into silver cars personally. Obviously not a deal breaker or the end of the world on anything. Black wheels, black OEM 19s. Not really a huge fan of black wheels personally. I think they're sort of a bit played out and just everyone does it, and yeah, kind of from a distance black wheels all just look the same. So yeah, the wing I think is kind of based on the M3 GTR road car. It's not great, it's fiberglass, it's flexed a little bit, you know, but if that's your type of thing, then whatever. Does have a carbon fibre CSL diffuser, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's painted black, which is a bit strange. The surround's painted black, but see if we can get in close enough to see. So the weave up to here is carbon onshore, and then the rest of it's painted black. Sort of to compare that, it should really be painted silver, but you can see the same on my car. It's colour coded, and then the carbon's onshore, which is the logical way to do it, but whatever. I'm not sure why that M3 badge is in the wrong place. So it's actually a pre-facelift car, but the rear lights have been updated for the facelift ones, because this is an early 03 car. Electric folding mirrors, which is quite a cool option they don't all have. Missing kidney grille, no big deal really. So with the car being an early facelift car, it's come with a widescreen nav. I don't know if that's been upgraded afterwards, and it's actually got everything. So it's got the rear blind, which is a bit of a flex because mine doesn't have that, and it's also got electric folding mirrors, which mine doesn't have. So I guess spec wise this one's flexing on mine a little bit. Yeah, flex on them, flex on them. Look at this. This is the worst thing ever. What is that? All of the interior lights are blue. Right, blue interior lights are not cool. I don't know where anyone ever thought they were, but they're not, and that's that. Some carbon fibre stuff going on the steering wheel. I'm not going to say I hate it, but it's probably not where I would have spent money given the condition of some other things in the car. I'd rather just you know, maybe retrim it or something instead. But yeah, each to their own. Obviously, walking around the car, you know, there's a few rust bubbles and there's problems here and there, but you're probably wondering, like, why was this the cheapest car? There's a long story about it, and I don't know how much of it I can sort of talk about, because, like, I don't want to upset anyone or anything. And again, like, I know I've been a bit sort of harsh on some of the stuff that someone's done to this car in the past, but it's not really something that I do, and I just, you know, like, blue interior lights and bits of carbon tat and, like, you know, like, it's just not really my thing. I just think there should be a lesson to people that when you buy an E46 M3, you should really consider the history of the car and the things that can be very costly that should have been done. Obviously an SMG car adds another level to that, so if you're going to buy one, I'd strongly recommend either you buy one cheap and straight away do the rod bearings, check the subframe, just go through the car completely, Vanos, like a good service, a good inspection, just go through everything, because the bills can rack up really badly on these cars. And the reason that this car, I think, has ended up being as cheap as it was is the previous owner has just got so deep into it. So I got a pile of receipts and a bunch of spares with it. There's a few bits, like it's got like a full Miltech exhaust and stuff, which is fair enough, you know, like he's tried to get some nice parts to look after the car, to sort of modify it and make it a bit nicer. But the car originally, the main sort of receipt, which is it's pretty spicy, is for the SMG unit on the gearbox. So it's been back to BMW and the gearbox has been redone, and there's a receipt for an actuator and a gear position sensor, I think it is, for the SMG unit. And all in all, that was like 4,000 something pounds, so it's pretty expensive when you sort of start to get a problematic car. On top of that, you can also factor in sort of the rod bearings and etc, etc. You're probably looking at another 1,500 to 2,000 pounds in engine maintenance to keep it nice. You can get in a pretty deep hole, and it's pretty easy to spend more than what the car's worth. And the thing, I guess, which was probably the final nail in the coffin, the most recent invoice that came was a full health inspection, and he was advised that the boot floor was cracked as well. So we're going to be taking that off and having a look at it, because I'm quite interested to see how badly it's cracked. But basically, I think if the guy was going to follow through with that, he'd probably be in the car more than what the car's now worth. And you have to really love something to be able to do that, because it's a lot of money. It's a hell of a lot of money. I thought it would have been nice to film a little exhaust clip so you could see what the car sounded like, and it ran out of fuel when I tried to start it. If you're still watching at this point, you're probably wondering why the hell I've bought it. I kind of am myself a little bit, but the reality is the car's not getting fixed. It's not worth the money and time to repair it to what it is. So it's actually a donor car. It wasn't initially supposed to be a donor car, but yeah, let's face it, S54 E30 is cool. The car came with a ton of extra stuff as well, like some sports cats straight through, a nice OEM back box, the old lights, some shocks, and just other bits and bobs. Those wings are rusty. If anyone wants them, if they've got like a drift car or something, just give me a shout. Otherwise they're going in the bin. Right, so if you think the S54 E30 is a good idea, I'd like to discuss it, because I was kind of at first like, the engine's a little bit too heavy for an E30, and you know, they do handle better with a lighter engine in, hence why the M3 is a 4-cylinder. But I just think it'd be a lot of fun. It's quite a raw engine, and it's quite exciting and engaging. Obviously, it's going to need shells, and I suspect possibly a head gasket. It sounds like it's slightly misfiring a little bit, but it might just be a plug or a coil pack or something like that. But we'll go through it all, and we're going to strip that car down and start selling some bits of it, because I think I can recuperate my money from just some of the parts. So if you're interested to watch that, if you want to see me strip the car, I don't think it's that exciting really, but I think maybe when we pull the engine out and start doing the bits for the E30, I'm interested to hear what people think. And yeah, this piece of junk is going to find a new lease of life elsewhere. Well, we've now finally got all 3 cars outside. It's been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I've been a bit flustered. The E30 wouldn't start because I've sort of turned it on and off a bunch of times to move it in and out. The battery was dead. Clink's come down to give me a hand, so I've just gone and got some jump leads and got that out. But we've now got 3 of the 4 cars here, so obviously my daily M3, the E30 and the heart donor. I noticed this as well, like, you know, this car's been sat for a long time. It's disgusting. But yep, that's going to be it for this one. It's nothing, I'm sort of just showing the car really. It's nothing majorly exciting. If anyone wants any parts, you know where to come. I'll do them a little bit cheaper than everyone else.